Welcome everyone to Beer Guys Radio. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us. We always appreciate it. We're going to have some good times this week, as we always do. We're going to get right here into the show. If you have a comment or question, please do leave it in the comments. We'd love to hear what you're drinking, what you're thinking, and if you have anything to chime in on what we're discussing, we're happy to hear from you there. So, with that said, Nate, as you asked, I did turn off the music loop here, so we're set on that front, and we're going to jump right into it. Welcome, everybody, to the Beer Guys Radio Show. Thanks for hanging out with us for some craft beers and conversations. I'm Tim Dennis. Brian Hewitt, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, Tim. I'm doing good. I'm here.
Good. You're
happy
here.
To be here. Yes.
You're
How's
here.
It going?
You've got a beer, so all is well, right?
Yeah, I'm not in a car, so I don't have to steer. I'm like all the things that ended.
All of those things. All the things you did. You won't hit a deer, hopefully.
No.
Hopefully.
Thank God for the deer.
Yeah,
His family would really miss it. It would be
would.
full of fear. What would they do?
My gosh.
Their good old deer dad.
Their dear dad. Their dear dad. Oh, dear dad. Okay, well that's good. I'm doing fine. I'm just going to move right along to Nate. Nate, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Yeah. Now you got a trip coming up soon. A very mostly beery, or at least substantially beery trip, right?
That is accurate. Yep. At the time of this podcast being released, we will be I think we'll be staying the night in Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay.
This podcast release.
All right.
But we're gonna make it all the way up to Maine, stretch over to New Hampshire and Vermont, and then come back down through West Virginia and the Blue Ridge Parkway.
That's a lot of traveling.
It's a lot of traveling.
I remember being younger and like being able to just take off on trips like that. Not now it's like, oh my gosh, it's so much. I mean, that's, all that time in the car and this and that. But I think the two most substantial trips I did was I had my cousin did, when she graduated college, she did a week at Myrtle Beach. They do a big week over there, and invited me to go along. So I went and I had a buddy who was going to go with me. And literally the morning that I get up to go to Myrtle Beach, I go to his house he's like, hey man, I can't go. Now, we're talking booked hotels, all this stuff. It's not. So I called around and I actually had a friend, again, you're in your early 20s, spontaneous trips to the beach, or so, called her. I was like, hey, you know what? I got this. Kevin just canceled on me. She's like, all right, yeah, I'm in. So we went over there and spent a week at Myrtle Beach. And at the time, I don't know if anybody knows this fun fact, but in the Carolinas, the cheap beer of choice is Natural Light. That is the go-to cheap beer there. So we drank several cases of Natty Light that week. And a dude ran through our room. We had our door open and our patio was over the pool. No idea who this guy was. He just full sprints through our room and jumps off the patio into the pool.
Oh.
Because those kinds of things happen when you're 20 something and there's alcohol involved.
I was gonna say that's something that only happens in the movies or in like the early 90s, late 80s. Like I don't think do people do that? I don't know. People are.
I imagine. Did you ever do like a spring break or anything like that? Like a big beach week? Because I can tell you, they do happen in those kind of situations. It's pretty wild. So
yeah, it's a fair point. You've got really young people with a lot of adrenaline and energy and hormones and
no
alcohol and no chaperones. Like
no one around to get on. Yeah.
I hear that and I think of like that's like a movie cliche. And I'm like, do people really do that? I'm like, I guess they do. Yeah,
they do. They do.
I haven't,
absolutely.
But I guess they do.
Yeah. We built a beer funnel down there that had 2 taps that came out, so you could funnel beer with a friend. And
nice.
Yeah. It's a good time, man. It was a good time. It's been a long time since I've been to the beach. So guys, let's get into beers of the week. Brian, what are you sipping on?
Yeah, my pregame was Sierra Nevada Summerfest, which is a German Pilsner, at least officially on Untappd, because, hey, it's still summer, so that's good enough reason. Still tasting great, and I anticipate drinking a bunch more of those in the near future. I am currently drinking Boulevard Chardonnay Cask Saison. It's a farmhouse saison, and the name pretty much says it all. It's saison that was aged in Chardonnay casks. It's really good, really, really tasty. And I'm going to with the post game hangout with the Patreon folks. I'm gonna get into some WeldWorks all extra shipper everything, which is a hazy New England double IPA. It's great. I've had it before. I think I've had it on the show recently, but it's a 5-way collaboration with the Veil side project, Other Half, and Angry Chair and WeldWorks. So all of them got together. Great beer. I've now had it in can and on tap, and I'm going to keep drinking it until it disappears. It's fun. I like collaborations. Yeah.
So are we in the crossover period yet where Summerfest and Celebration are out?
No, Celebration's got a minute. I need to stock up on my Summerfest
early
so I can.
September, right?
Yeah. I need
hits,
to stock up on my Summerfest to make sure I have some around so I can do the changing of the cans when that happens, because that's always fun. Yeah.
Have your Summerfest and officially transition into the next season by having a celebration, right?
Yeah, like 1 year I took them. I had pictures of them side by side. I poured one of each, and seriously drank Summerfest, and then immediately followed that with Celebration. I just skipped over everything in between. I jumped right into basically Christmas.
It's as the good Lord intended.
Yeah.
Yes. Good stuff. Nate, what are you sipping on?
All right, so in my glass right now from Break Brewing, I've got their BrewDog, which is a Helles lager, a German Helles lager. And then I recently had a work trip down to Savannah, Georgia, so I got to go visit Two Tides and picked up a 4-pack of their Covered in Martina hair. Martina is a local alley cat that they wanted to honor by naming a beer out of her, and this one is a double New England IPA with Citra, Motueka, and Sabro hops.
Okay. Any cat hair in it?
To my knowledge, no, but it might enhance the flavor, make it a little chewy.
Maybe a little bit there, right? You
Yeah.
wouldn't know. They could put a little bit in there. Stranger things have gone into beer.
Maybe it went to the mash tun when they were mashing for it.
Mashing with cat hair
in there. Yeah, why not, right?
It's like a filter bed, right?
Exactly. Help filter things out. Yeah.
Rice hulls, cat hair, whatever you got to do.
Yeah, I mean, like cat elements are something with hops. Usually it's not the fur, it's something else, but why not? Yeah. Why not the fur, right?
It's catty.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Brian, in the news here, we're always talking about how much people are drinking. We get mixed information here and there, but a Gallup survey, which is one of the big surveying kind of folks out there, says that alcohol consumption in the U.S. is at an 86-year low.
Yeah, I figured it was best for us to just get started with the survey that's kind of being breathlessly reported just about everywhere online. It's basically viral at this point. The Gallup poll shows that the percentage of U.S. adults who report drinking alcohol has dropped 19% from last year to a record low of 54%. This is the lowest percentage measured since 1939 when the survey started. Not only are fewer people drinking, but those who do drink are consuming less. The average number of drinks per week is down to 2.8, matching the previous low that was set back in 1996. The decline is the steepest among women, young adults 18 to 34, though I think they meant 21 to 34, but I don't know. What are you 18-year-olds doing? I'm not going to judge you. And also those at the high and low ends of the income scale. Significant drop is also noted amongst Republicans, falling 65% from 65% in 2023 to 46% in 2025. So I'm a little surprised by that. I thought beer was a kind of a very, popular thing with the Republicans.
Very patriotic kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Despite the overall decrease in alcohol consumption, beer remains the most popular alcoholic beverage. It's preferred by 38% of drinkers. So now that I've said all of that, it sounds terrible and scary. It's worth mentioning that the Brewers Association president, Bart Watson, who was the chief economist for a number of years, he's urging caution when interpreting this data. He cites that it is a very small sample size for this poll. It's only 1,002 adults. It's just 1,000 people. And he also points out that there are significant year-over-year volatility in the numbers from the past results. There are a lot of peaks and valleys in the graph. If you look at it, it jags up and down all over the place. And I got to ask, did 1980 really have the largest number of drinkers even over the COVID era? Because that's what the chart is showing. And I'm like, people were getting lit during COVID. They really were. So I don't know about that. I'd also like to... Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead, sir.
I was going to say, I'd also like to add here that it counts on people that are taking the survey being honest. And I'm always skeptical about people self-reporting their drinking habits and other vices. People are aspirational in how they report surveys. That's kind of pretty well documented. People tell survey takers what they want to do and not necessarily maybe what they actually do. Uh, and I don't believe that the total alcohol sales stats reflect a single year drop of 19%. And I want to say Beervana. I got that idea from Beervana. He was looking at these, like, the actual sales numbers don't reflect a 19% drop in one year.
Yeah.
Like, this is not really a real thing. But having said all that, what do you guys think? Alcohol consumption is down, but do you believe it's really the lowest it's been in 86 years, at least in terms of percentage of people drinking?
No, I don't think that's, I find that hard to believe. The only thing, so I'm looking at the factors that could impact that right now. And I know we've heard a lot about, with the legalization of marijuana, that people are moving, towards that. I know I have talked to some people who say they drink less. They haven't stopped drinking, but they may have a gummy and then only one beer or two beers or a cocktail or what have you. So, I mean, I could see that impacting it. We also know people are, for the last several years, there's a big push for health consciousness. So you have that to take into consideration. And that could also impact people answering the survey. And does it say when the survey was done, Brian? Because here, let me see. If they had done the survey, like, let's see, this was at the beginning of the year. If they catch people in early January, they may have set New Year's resolutions to drink less. And they could have been like, oh, yeah, I'm drinking less. So New Year's Eve, I had 72 beers, but like in the last 2 weeks, so much less.
And I think some of the questions are kind of a little vague. Like, do you have occasions to drink alcohol? Or there's some interesting flexibility there where people could answer in a certain way, making it sound like they don't drink when they do occasionally. And it's not, and it can kind of be summarized up into, one perspective, which is like, it's down, people aren't drinking. Like, well, is that really what they said? And were they being honest when they said it? Because like you said, if they ask in dry January, you're going to find a lot of people weren't drinking then. So I don't know when the survey happened. It was announced this week, I believe. So I would assume it wasn't that far back, but I have no idea, honestly.
Well, and then they say that the average number of drinks per week matches a low that was set back in 1996. And I remember the mid 90s, and they were fairly moist from what I recall, Brian. So
yes,
that's also surprising there. But we got Baracoy Nation has chimed in here, and he said they didn't survey him, or that alone would have improved these results, here. So
I would have added at least a couple points to the survey.
Yeah. Like, two more people, 1,004 people, and we would have had totally different results.
I would have probably added like several points. So like, how did one person answering differently raise it like 3%? Like, I don't know. He just drinks a lot. So
beer consumption at 86-year high.
Yeah, that's right.
See, but that's a hard thing, Tim. You're saying 1,004 people, but when was the last time you had a whole beer?
Well, but I'm saying that we had Baracoy Nation and Brian talking about how they skew it. So if we added those two guys, just those two guys, and they'll offset me. So they'll definitely do it there. And I know that, I know me personally that I would definitely be down in the ranks, with beer not agreeing with me much lately. I had exactly one drink of beer this past weekend. So, but I got to try the Tropical Hop Slam. So that was cool there.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah. It's pretty good, man. It's pretty good stuff. And again, that's not necessarily my, choice beer style, but I could still tell it was well done. And I could tell it was a Tropical Hop Slam. So, very good. And that's, this is another thing. Again, another comment from Baracoy Nation here. He said they have beers every Wednesday as a homebrew community. And Brian, if you look at us, and if you go back just pre-COVID, we had our homebrew club that got together twice a month. Do we do twice a month or once a month on a Friday night? But then almost without fail, every Saturday, we got together kind of unofficially to brew and to drink. And that would normally be half a dozen of us. I know there used to be a lot more bottle shares than that. And I don't want to flog a dead horse, because I know we've covered this before, but I feel like going to breweries and such It used to be more people there, more lively. And I'm not sure if that is because if I compare it to, say, 10 years ago, we had a lot fewer breweries in Georgia. So if you were going to a brewery, the percentage that someone else was going to that same brewery was a lot higher than looking at, what we have now, and people are more spread out. So back then, 5-10 years ago, if there was an event going on, then everybody was going to be there.
It was frequently, we did get a flood of events later in the 20 teens, I guess, but early on, frequently there would be one big event a week, and the chances were really good. If you went there, you're going to see everybody you knew.
Everybody.
And
right,
that was
right.
fun. At one point in time, it would be people were looking for events, and it'd be like 1 or 2 a month, and you're like, well, Burnt Hickory's doing a thing, whatever it is, I'm there. Like, and everybody would be there. Like, it would just be swamped with people. So yeah, it's really like there are so many tap rooms now, and it's good to have this, but you have no idea where people are going to be. And we still have the beer bars, which I love.
Yeah.
We got the brick stores and whatnot, where you're gonna my chances now of running into people I know is actually still as highest at brick store than just tap rooms now.
That's true. That's true.
People, that's the only place you can go now where you can get amazing representations of all the different styles from almost everywhere in the proper glassware. If you go to a tap room, you get one brewery's interpretation on all the styles. So at this point in time, we've got such a saturation of stuff. Like, sometimes you really want to go to Variant, like, it just, drink their cashmere beers and their stouts. That's great, but sometimes you want to I want to try a little Belgian. I want to see what else is coming in. I want all this stuff. I want to have one place to do it. And so these days it may have shifted back towards the beer bar when you can find one that's that actually has a good selection of options.
When we started Beer Guys Radio, and Brian, we're just a few months off of a decade of Beer Guys Radio right now. So almost 10 years. But when we started, I did a newsletter called This Week in Georgia Beer that we sent out, talked about our show for the week. When I started the newsletter in late 2015, I could seriously put every single beer event in the entire state into the newsletter. And then it got to the point where I had to select like the top 10, because I'm like, well, I can't put 30 events in a little newsletter here. It's just going to be noise. When I did that, I started having brewers email me going, hey man, why didn't you include my event in your newsletter? So, through a few different challenges, and the fact that, there got to be so much that it was just kind of noise there. And, now and we also had the issue, because Brian, I don't know if you still do, but I know you kept a beer calendar, you kept a Google Calendar for quite a while of the beer events, but we started having a lot where people wanted to promote things like a trivia night or things like that. That's like, hey, okay, we have 42 trivia nights this week if we look at every brewery, and it's not really an event. So trying to decide, but I do feel like there were more big events then, but again, that's probably impacted by the fact that we had fewer brewers, so it was a bigger deal for a brewery to have an event. Those to the folks listening out there, we would love to hear how your beer community, your beer scene looks right now, especially if you've been around for a little while, have been drinking for 5 or 10 years. What's it look like now compared to what it looked like back 5-10 years ago? Do you feel that there's still as much excitement? Do you feel there's still as much going on? Do you feel it's still as social? We'd definitely like to hear that, because, hey, this could be impacted by me just becoming an old dude who doesn't get out quite as much there. And the fact that, again, beer has been giving me difficulty, so I'm not drinking it as much. But I still feel like I stay pretty in tune with all the social channels and that to what's going on in the brewing industry. And I just feel like I'm not seeing quite as much as I used to.
It seems to me like there was a shift in the events, and the difference between events that like had to go to and there was a prioritize to not when breweries, and I want to say specifically Creature Comforts, started setting up events where they would release beers that we would go to the brewery on the weekend to pick up. They started doing it midweek. At a certain point, like you kind of got this thing, it's like, oh, this is a new one, we got to head over there and get it. Oh, this is a great one. Well, they started releasing them during the week, and in some cases stopped promoting them as much. I'm like, and I never understood that, like that more often in making releases less special. Well, it worked, and now when they release a beer, I hear about it after the fact sometimes, and every now and then it drifts through I don't know, my range, or somebody hooks me up with one or something like that, and that's how I find out about them. But once upon a time, if Creature Compass was having a release, it's like, oh, this is the weekend. They're
We'd
doing
get
this
an
thing.
email, we'd get a PR package, we'd get
We-
all this stuff.
We
and
got to go
it's
over
not
there and get
happening
that.
anymore.
And it got demoted, and I don't know why. Uh, it seems to me like it wasn't the beer releases got less exciting. It's just like breweries decided that we don't want this to be as exciting as it once was. Maybe it's like I'm taking the wrong angle on this, because I think that's not everybody, but some of the big ones are like it.
Well,
that kind of, when that happened, it kind of, something seemed like it broke. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
I don't even know if they necessarily made that choice, Brian, or if they just kind of forced people into that when Georgia breweries got the right to sell from the tap room, or I think it may have actually happened when it started with the tours and tasting packages. A lot of breweries started doing these brewery only releases, these smaller releases, and that. When it first started, they hyped everyone up like it was the biggest deal in the world. And I made a comment on our local Reddit ATL beer channel, essentially saying they need to slow down here, because if everything is a big event, then nothing's a big event, pretty much. And
True.
there was more than a few people that made the comment. They're like, are you complaining about too much good beer? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, it's not that I want this, but if everything's a big, huge release and a big deal, then nothing is, because you get to the point where if there's 2 new beers released every Wednesday and one comes up, you're like, you know what? I don't have to get to that one, because I'll just go, there'll be some more next Wednesday. So, and then when there was a big beer release and there was something that was worth promoting, it fell in the noise of everything else. So I think breweries really needed to control themselves a little bit. And it's kind of like a dog that's been locked up all day. Not calling our breweries dogs, but it's like the dog that's locked up all day, and you get home you let them out from work and they just go nuts, and Georgia brewers were, tied down for so long on what they could do. I mean, if I'd owned a brewery, Brian, it would have been tempting to do the same thing. Hey, man, look at this. I can brew these beers. I can make this fun stuff that I want to. I don't have to make a massive batch that has to go out to distribution. And I can have a little party right here at my brewery and let people come enjoy it. So, yeah, it would have been tempting to do that.
Yeah. No, I get it. And I'm not trying to talk badly about anybody, but yeah,
I didn't think you were. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What you're saying about when everything's special, nothing is, that definitely rings true. I'm trying to think, like the big thing was See the Stars, and like people were just going crazy about that. I'm like, have they done something?
Debris, See the Stars.
Yeah, like it's like, has anything like that? Maybe they've released stuff like that. I just haven't heard about it, because, well, those kind of events just don't happen anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, they seem to fall under the radar. I mean, even looking at Monday night did their 7 deadly stouts that they did, did the release there. And it used to be a very big deal for Drafty Kilt, the bourbon barrel aged Drafty Kilt, to be released.
Yeah.
And Terrapin had Moohoo and Wake and Bake that they did. And we look forward to those every year. They were always big events. Even kind of a double whammy here, but we used to get invited each year to the Wake and Bake Off, the competition at Terrapin, and now that's not even Terrapin anymore. The tap room here in Atlanta. So big changes. But okay, moving right along, Brian. Moving right along. One of my favorite breweries to see in the news, because there's always something interesting when their name comes up. But this is going to shock absolutely no one. Things are continuing to go very badly for BrewDog in the UK.
Yeah, they're no strangers to the news. It is always for the wrong reason. So it has come out recently that BrewDog's beers, particularly their flagship Punk IPA, has been removed from nearly 2,000 pubs in the UK over the past 2 years. This has resulted in a distribution drop of over 50% for BrewDog. On top of the decline in distribution, the company has seen significant losses in both 2022 and 2023. And it has closed several of its BrewDog locations due to them no longer being commercially viable. And we talked about that a couple of weeks ago. One of those locations was the original BrewDog flagship pub in Scotland. Was it Aberdeen? I don't remember, actually. BrewDog's COO attributes the tap handle losses to broader economic pressures that affect all breweries these days. But you have to kind of wonder if the company's toxic reputation is catching up with them, and it's playing a little bit of a part in this. I'm like, if you're making a decision about what new beers to get in and how you're going to change your tap lines, and BrewDog's got a bit of a stigma, maybe that gives you a little extra nudge to I don't know, drop that one. But anyway, the company CEO remains confident, saying they're doing the right things and on the right path, citing growth in other channels like grocery stores, festivals, and stadiums. And an industry insider from one of the articles I read says that BrewDog is becoming increasingly reliant on a single giant UK pub chain, JD Wetherspoons. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but they're big. They're all over the place.
Yeah, I know
And apparently
Wetherspoons.
they
Yep.
do really good deals on food and beer and everything like that. If they lost that deal, and they haven't, that would be a huge blow to the company, and we will likely be talking about that if they do. But they are optimistic. They're not doing well right now. And what's his name? Watt is no longer he's not in any of these roles as CEO or COO. He stepped aside at some point in the past. So yeah, that's where that's at. So
Interesting.
they closed some pubs and they're not doing well financially.
I always wondered why they were as popular as and some people were big. They did have their fanboys, they had their equity for punks thing. Yep. It just seemed like anything they got their hands on, there was drama around it. Remember the gold can promo that they did? So
that was even mentioned in these articles for some reason. I'm like, that's not even related. But the hollow gold can that
interesting, man. Interesting stuff there.
What was it? Planned his not engagement, but after the wedding, the travel that you're going away. Why am I missing honeymoon? Yeah.
Okay.
Planned his honeymoon around selling the can, only to find out it was basically gold plated and
$13 worth of gold on it.
Very little actual value. Yeah. Oh, terrible.
Crazy. Because it wasn't like it was light. It was like a lead can or something, right? That they played. It was heavy. It felt like it. To my understanding, the can felt like it would have been solid.
For sure. They had reason to believe that this was a significantly valuable asset that you could sell, and they were expecting $5,000 to $6,000 worth of whatever material being there. Maybe not completely solid, but enough there that you could finance.
It wasn't
this
just
is 5 to 10 years ago. You could finance a really good trip throughout wherever you wanted to go in Europe, probably. Yeah.
Madness, Brian, madness. Well, I tell you what, man, before we move on to our next story, let's give a shout out to our friends over at Truck and Tap.
Yes. So we are approaching that time of year where, despite the evidence of their census, people start talking about it being fall already. Well, don't worry and put away that Oktoberfest six-pack back on the retail shelf where you found it. We are still safely wrapped in summer. We've got a month of it left, in fact. And Truck and Tap knows that, which is why they have a plethora of beers that are perfect for summer. Let's talk about a few of those in my beer picks for the week. At Truck and Tap Woodstock, I'm going with Good Word's Anna Fantastic, which is a tart cherry and tangerine kettle sour. Fun fact, it's named after Prince's girlfriend, Anna Fantastic, same name, from his Pink Cashmere record, and it's a good beer. I've had it. It's been a little while, but yeah, definitely one to get. At the Duluth location, I'm getting New Realms Oaxaca Chaca because, as we like to say here on Beer Guys Radio, stouts are for summer. They're definitely a summer drink. It's been in my beer picks before, and for good reason. It's a great Mexican pastry stout, and if you haven't tried it before, I recommend it. If you have, then you already know, and you are probably going to get it anyway. At Truck and Tap Alpharetta, my pick is New Realm's 7th anniversary double IPA, and yes, I am doubling down on New Realm this week. I think there's a lot of New Realm on because it is their anniversary. This double IPA is fermented with Quake SB yeast and features American and New Zealand hops. I haven't had it yet, but the word is it has big tropical pine and berry notes. It sounds both delightful and interesting. I don't believe I've ever had a beer made with that variety of Quake before, so that's reason enough for me to get it alone, so definitely going to do that. And finally, at the Lawrenceville location, I'm going with WeldWorks Juicy Tiles IPA because it's summertime in a glass. It's a hazy New England double IPA made with wildflower honey, and it's a collaboration with Trillium, so you know it's going to be a good one. I've had it before. It's good. It's nice. You're going to want that if you haven't had it before. And there you have my beer picks for the week. As always, if you'd like to see the full tap list before stopping by, take a look at truckandtap.com. The taps change quickly. You never know what great new beer is going to go on tap that's not there right now. And if you'd like to see what food trucks are serving and what events are happening, the trivia, the karaoke, the live music, all that sort of thing, You can also find that at truckandtap.com. Everything you need to know can be found at truckandtap.com, so check that out. And thank you to Truck and Tap for your support.
Thank you, Truck and Tap. We appreciate you very much. Well, Brian, moving on to a brewery that, man, we talk about them a good bit, and you used to hear about them all the time. They were hype. They were a hype beast there for a while, but not so much now. But Ballast Point, Brian, who has been kind of through the ringer over the last several years, but they're not dead, Brian. They are not dead, and they've actually just got a big new investment.
Yeah. So good news for fans of Ballast Point. I don't know how many there are left, honestly, but that is the beer company that once sold for $1 billion. They have new investors, like you said, a bunch of new capital and a lot of new expertise that comes with it, and that all just got on board with the company. The original investors behind Kings and Convicts, the current owner of Ballast Point, have departed, so it's still owned by Kings and Convicts. They just have new people, new investors behind them. The new ownership group plans to keep the company local to San Diego, but also plans to expand tap rooms beyond San Diego. They also will be working on growing sales force and the distribution of the beer. In the short term, the beer will be contract brewed while the company works on acquiring or building a new San Diego facility, ideally with an 80 to 100 barrel brew house. According to the latest figures, the brewery's production volume declined by 60% last year, and they're down to 35,000 barrels, which is a massive drop from its peak of over 430,000 barrels back in 2016 when it was acquired by Constellation Brands for $1 billion. So, yes, anyway. My question is, okay, so I looked at their website because that's still up, and they have a beer finder, and reportedly it's available around here. And I was like, I don't think I've seen it in like a long time. So when was the last, have you guys seen it around? When was the last time you saw any Ballast Point beer?
Nate, you make the rounds a lot to different beverage stores. How about you? Any Ballast Point sightings that you can recall?
I can't say that I can recall the last time I saw a Ballast Point beer. It's been a number of years for sure.
Yeah, that I don't know, Brian. On tap or that, I don't hit bottle shops as much, but going to restaurants and tap rooms and that, I don't recall the last time. And that could be on me. That could be on me just not noticing them, just not paying attention to them.
Well, I was kind of racking my brain thinking, like, have I seen it and just not ordered it, or seen it on the shelf, maybe at like a Total Wine and assumed it was old? And I'm like, I don't think so, but maybe. Now, when I was looking at the map, it looked like the usual suspects places I would look for beer, I don't believe have it. So it might be different, package stores that have it. I was going to go out and try to find some this week, but due to things beyond my control during the workday, I was unable to do just about anything else.
You've been very unreliable during the workday.
Yeah. Well, from a work perspective, very reliable.
Yeah, that's not
screwing off and getting beer perspective. I'm been very difficult.
Terrible. Yeah. We need our buddy Dave in here. I don't think Dave's on the live stream. He usually is in here with us, but Dave is in San Diego.
Yeah.
So we could get the local insight there as to what what the vibe around Ballast Point is there.
They do still have a tap room that I believe operates out of the brewery they sold to Athletic Brewing. So I think Athletic is producing their non-alcoholic beer in the place that Ballast Point or Kings and Convicts bought for Ballast Point. I'm not 100% sure on that. I believe that's how it's working. So they have a tap room there, but they're not actually, I don't believe their beer is actually made there. They're just operating out of it, which is kind of an interesting thing. So they're kind of skating by right now, is my understanding. But I've not been on the ground in San Diego in many years.
Many moons. Yeah. When was the last time you had a Ballast Point beer? Are they still well made? Is it still Ballast Point?
I think the last time I had it, it was probably back when they were Constellation Brands, and it seemed fine. It really fell off around the time when they sold, or like shortly before, because they were the hottest thing ever. But they were also the one that was pushing the envelope in terms of beer pricing. I remember I think they might have been one of the first times I saw like a 6-pack that was $16 or more, or maybe it was higher than that.
I think I remember like $17.99 for like grapefruit sculpin. I think
I stood there in the aisle, just shook my fist for like 5 minutes. I didn't say anything. All I did was, and then I bought it.
That's what everybody else did. This is ridiculous. I only picked up a case at these prices.
That's right.
Yeah. Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Well, Brian, aluminum costs and a hot topic. I was actually talking to a coworker today about this because we were just talking about the economy. So I'm in the staffing industry. I do staffing. It's a little quiet right now. There's stuff going on, but and we were talking about how are people being cautious and how the tariffs are impacting people and what's going on there. And Brian, on a personal level with these tariffs, there's a shop in Paris that I purchased from in my fragrance collecting. And they just sent a note out, there's a 15% tariff now. So when you buy from them, and there used to be, I think it's called de minimis is the term on it, but there used to be that like the de minimis purchase was like $800, $600 or $800, and if you under that amount, you didn't have to pay tariffs. But now that has been done away with, or it is being done away with, I think towards the end of this month. So whatever you purchase, no matter the amount, if you buy something for $10, there's a $15 tariff on it. So if we look at that level, if things are hitting people at the consumer level and we scale that up to corporations that are buying from these other countries, then that's got to hit it. And we were talking about aluminum because the big thing with that, with importing aluminum over here, is that the last time I heard, the U.S. just did not have the facilities to produce it or the raw materials to produce either. So we didn't have the factories or the raw materials to do it. So that's a thought on that, kind of a backstory of the tariffs and how all that could be impacting it. And Brian, now that I've given all my opinions, why don't you share the facts with us?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think there is a limited amount of production in the U.S. that is not subject to tariff, but it's very quickly eaten up by everybody who wants aluminum. But yeah, so I got an alert from the Brewers Association, and the short of it is that the cost of cans may be going up again, but it's tariff related, like you're saying, but it's not maybe in the way you might expect, or maybe a little bit in the way you expect. So here's why. The U.S. Department of Commerce has added can ends, which I think is the bottom of the cans, and lids to the Section 232 list of aluminum derivatives. That means two things. Before right now, can lids and ends were not actually tariffed. So that part of the can wasn't tariffed, apparently, even though they're both made with aluminum, which is a little surprising. It seems like that's a loophole that everybody should have been quiet about. But being added to the Section 232 list means that they will probably be subject to the same tariffs anything else made with aluminum would be, like the rest of the can. And I say probably there because that's the verbiage I saw. Like, it's not a 100% guarantee, but very likely. Being added to the list probably means yes. So this can interfere with the aluminum can supply chain, as businesses are going to wind up making adjustments for this change. So they were buying these before without having to worry about tariffs. They may change who they buy it from, or try to find ways to get around it. That's going to interrupt things, and it's likely going to cause things to be just more expensive because now more parts of the can are being tariffed. And I got to ask again, because I always ask at this point in time, is it time to switch back to glass bottles yet? Are we
I'm sure we'd still have issues with that, but that's so.
Probably.
Beer Snob Sean chimed in here, Brian. I think the ends are just what they refer to the top. So the fact that they said like cans or tops and ends is a little odd, because I think because the can is all one piece. You've seen the way they're molded, Brian. You've got the can, and then you seal the top on there. And I believe that is, like Sean said, that is,
I wonder why they use that verbiage. So it's like lids, ends, and lids. I'm like, did they mean something else? Because you have for other kind of bottles, there are lids or caps that can screw on. They're made out of aluminum. Are they referring to those? Maybe, I don't know. I just assumed that ends meant the bottom of the can or something. I'm like, that doesn't make sense, but
who knows? Yeah.
I figured there were two things involved here. I guess not. All right.
Yeah. So there we go. But Brian, I don't think we're going back to glass. I don't think anybody wants that. There's still people that are definitely still all about glass bottles and won't drink beer out of aluminum cans.
More cork and cage. More cork and cage 750s. That's what I'm like. I can't get those words out. Cork and cage 750s. That's what we need. This world needs a cheap cork and cage 750.
So more cork and cages. I do miss I do miss the cork and cage days, and I think the beers that encouraged cork and cage, the type of beers you get with a cork and cage,
The
always enjoyed those.
saisons, like all of the fun
Yeah,
end of the year beers, anything,
yeah,
really anything Belgian, anything lambic. Heck, we've got a 750, the Radagast, the first IPA, the triple IPA from New Realm, because I was talking about New Realm so much earlier. It's on my
right.
mind. That was
Yeah,
a 750. It was a glass bottle 750.
it was
It wasn't cork and cage, but it was, I believe it just had a cap on it. I think I have a bottle right over there of that from
just
when they
right over
opened.
there, huh?
It's super fresh and ready to go. Like
Was
it's,
that a quad IPA? Is that right? The
I think
Radagast, or
I think it was
just
a
just
triple
a triple?
IPA.
Just
Yeah,
a
just
triple? Yeah.
merely a triple, Tim. Merely.
Yeah, merely a triple IPA. Yeah, so I think aluminum cost rising are going to be one of many things, Brian, that we see going up. We'll
Yeah,
just have to keep an eye on it. We get a lot of grains from Europe, Brian.
we do. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
a lot of brewing grains come from over here. A lot of hops come from over there.
yeah. A lot of them do.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Well, Brian, on the note of actually brewing beer, there is a study that shows sound can make your beer brew faster.
Yeah, this is fun. I love these new discoveries with brewing. So researchers at the University of Otago, and I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, it's in New Zealand. They found playing white noise during fermentation results in faster fermentations. It speeds up fermentations by anywhere from 21 to 31 hours. Apparently, the sound stimulates the yeast and leads to faster growth, cells multiplying, consumption of the sugars, and production of alcohols. The yeast like to get down when they're doing their thing. Uh, the study used a device called linear actuators, and it's plural, even though it's one device. I'm confused by that, but that's how the story reported it. That delivered the audible sound energy, and it was between 800 and 2,000 hertz and around 140 decibels to the fermenting beer. So we're not talking about some subtle white noise you can fall asleep to. For reference, I had to look this up. 140 decibels is an extremely loud sound that can cause immediate and permanent hearing damage in human beings. It's comparable to the sound of a jet engine taking off, fireworks, or a gunshot. And according to AI, which always gets everything right, it's the threshold of pain for humans. So yeah, we're right
All
there.
right.
We're right there at pain levels. So but volume aside, they say that the faster fermentation process did not significantly alter the flavor profile of the final beer. These aren't beer judges, so maybe that needs to be taken up by beer
Okay. Get
judges
some
at some point
judges
in the
in there.
future.
Yeah.
But this is big if true, as they say. This discovery would help breweries increase their production efficiency while maintaining product quality, and it would likely offer similar benefits to other fermented beverages, I would assume. So anyone who's ever sworn that playing music for their beer helps it ferment, that they might be right now. They just probably need to turn that volume knob up to 11 for it to work properly. And what I kind of want to know is actually if I blasted sauerkraut, my cabbage with all this volume, will it make sauerkraut faster?
So here's my thinking. I'm going to throw some bro science in here, Brian, and some personal opinion. I mean, sound is, as we know, is a wave. You know, it
Yeah,
creates. If you ever sat in the back seat of a car with some bass thumping, you know, you feel it. So
yeah,
my guess is that playing the white noise at a loud volume keeps the yeast stimulated, keeps it in motion,
yeah.
which allows it to do its munching better because it's not settling. It's not turning into trub as quick. Especially if they're doing it at 140 decibels out there. My guess is it's shaking the yeast around.
Oh, so it's like those old school, like, those platforms with the band you put around you that vibrate to lose weight, except
That's
this
right.
is for the
Yeah.
yeast and makes them ferment
Except for
faster.
yeast.
So it's
That's
just like
right,
that.
man.
I'm wondering if, like, actually just rattling it, because that makes sense, because you are slightly agitating and keeping things in suspension better and slightly moving things around. So it's like a very possibly like low key stirring action, maybe that's happening here. So maybe it doesn't have to be like eardrum splittingly loud white noise. Maybe it could just be a vibration that does the same thing. Somebody needs to look into
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, you could if it was that. I believe that they would have to. And again, I'm going to state scientific information, having no clue what I'm talking about. So let me just preface by saying that. But I would think that if you are applying the sound waves, that means the entire wave is going through the fermentation vessel, which
Yeah.
means it will impact everything in there. Where a shaking motion, you could have points that settle there and
Oh, yeah.
without that.
Okay.
So yeah, if you've ever taken even like taking a glass and swirl it around, you may have that the center point where something gets there. So my thinking is I do think, Brian, that your vibration technique could improve it, but I personally believed, based on my bro science theories, that the sound would be more effective.
So it is in fact all about the motion of the ocean in this case.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not the
Yes.
size of the wave, Brian.
No, not at all. It's the motion.
It's the motion in the ocean.
Of the true ocean, yes, indeed.
Not how
Yes.
big the wave is.
No, not
What
not in the slightest.
What they're doing with it.
This is what I've
So-
always heard, and now science, I
Yeah.
believe, is supporting it. Yes.
Yeah. So interesting. And yeah, Brian. So get you a little white noise maker and set you up a couple sauerkrauts, put one in a different room, and then get you some white noise playing there on the other one and let them go a week and see what you got.
At the smaller volume, maybe a lower volume of white noise would work because it has less kraut to penetrate for
I would
maximum
think
crowdiness. Yeah.
Yeah, I would think the smaller the size of the vessel, the less. I don't think you'd need 140 decibels, or your kraut may just turn sentient if you tried that.
Could come to life. Might be better.
Turn
that
itself
way.
into a sandwich. Put it.
Yeah, that's right.
Point
Yeah.
at you talking about. You want a Reuben? You're like, you know what? Sauerkraut. Yes,
I'm terrified, but also yes, please.
I will take a Reuben.
Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. And Brian, weird beer collaborations. We are absolutely massive, huge fans of these. This is going a little different direction, Brian. This isn't going in the beer. The beer is going in the collaboration item. I guess that's probably a little bit of a spoiler here when I say that this weird collaboration is between Pabst and Campbell's Soup.
Yes. So the odd collaboration of the week, because these are happening weekly. I still like them, and I'm going to keep talking about them. It's between Pabst Blue Ribbon and Campbell's Chunky, specifically the Chunky. Which is, yes, a soup company, or I guess stew. I don't know, soup. Anyway, so that. Yeah. I kind of,
for what it's worth, Brian, Chunky does, I believe, say soup on the can. It's just Chunky.
I think so.
Soup.
I have personal differences between like a soup and
soups
like
and stews and chilies
and a chili. I categorize and treat them differently. But anyway, yeah, they're releasing this just in time for soup and football season. So I guess those two to go together. I don't know. The companies they've teamed up on 2 beer infused soup flavors: beer cheese with potatoes and chorizo soup, and beef, bacon, and beer chili with beans. Both offerings will be infused with Pabst Blue Ribbon beer flavor. I'm not sure if that's actual beer or if they've like reduced it down into just flavor or something like that. But the soups will be only available at Walmart, both in stores and online, beginning later this month. And Pabst and Chunky are going on a food truck sampling tour of Walmart stores across the U.S. beginning in September. So you'll have a chance to go to your Walmart and if they're there and try it out for yourself. So I'm not a soup person. I think I may have hinted at that.
Yeah.
We've probably discussed it in the past, and I don't usually go to Walmart, but I would try the chili if I came across it, because I don't consider, like I said, chili to be a soup. I'm good with chili. I like stew.
Now,
not as big soup person though. Yeah.
How thick does a soup have to become before it hits stew or before it's acceptable to you?
Well, can I dip chips in it, and will it stay on the chips? I'm like, it becomes a dip at a certain point, and then I'm fine with it. Or
that's
like
going too far. I think we're going too far there, Brian.
I think it's the solid, the volume of solid material in it. Like the soup, no matter how thick it is still kind of soup. But a stew it's thick, but it's the majority of it, the preponderances of it is like well cooked,
meats
but
and
solid
potatoes, meats and veg.
Solid thing.
Okay.
So if the beer cheese one was just chock full of potatoes, like to the point of where it's almost like au gratin potatoes, I'm like, I'm in. I'm in. If it's just
Brian, we call that a casserole, buddy.
Okay. Yeah, then I'll take the casserole version of it, please. Thank you very much.
And
Yeah.
Tyler wants to know what your thoughts are on chowders.
You know, I kind of like chowders. I do. I won't lie. And my problem, the reason I don't eat them more often is purely lactose related. They don't
Dairy
settle with me.
related. Yeah.
They were an exclusion to this. I was very into, and I would always eat chowders back in the day. I used to enjoy them a great deal when I was on the West Coast. It was a particular chain in Oregon. I don't have no idea if they're still there. Maybe more states now, but they were Moe's. They did amazing clam chowder. I used to love going there. The problem is my stupid body decided it doesn't like to eat that stuff. It doesn't like to process it. So I no longer can do that. I like chowder. I like certain varieties of chowder. Some other varieties I don't think I'm into. But the kind we had at Moe's was really good.
So as you know, Brian, I'm pro soup in pretty much all the varieties, whether it's brothy or thick or what have you. And we got yours. And Brian, I believe you enjoyed yourself here. So I think when you give soup a chance, you like it more than you realize. And my reference point being Orpheus's Super Bowl that they did.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
they did a Super Bowl party one year, SOUPER, and they had a bunch of local restaurants and just home cooks come out. And Brian, there were some mighty fine soups there, was there not?
There were some good things. And I want to
Yeah.
point out that a lot of them were dressing up your little sampling with a lot of solid material. So they got closer into Brian territory, being the stews and things like that. But yes, there were some really good ones there.
Do they get any past? Like, I'm going to use the beer cheese with potatoes and chorizo. Let's say we've got a fairly large bowl, a fairly large percentage of cheese sauce there. Now, I'm going to assume it would be thick enough that if you dip something in it, you'd get a coating on it, but not thick enough there would be dip consistency. So the fact that it is cheese and it is beer, does that offer it any benefits in your soup hierarchy?
A little bit. It's that's something that in very a small amount I would like. A sampling of it I would enjoy. I don't think it's something I would just sit down and eat though. Like because I'm like I like this isn't a beverage. It's not a dip. I'm like I don't know what to do with this. I don't.
Well, I
don't
like mine with
drinking my
crackers,
food.
Brian. Put a bunch of crackers in there, potatoes. I mean, I think the beer cheese with potatoes and chorizo sounds fantastic. And I imagine with about 17 cups of oyster crackers in there, I'd crush it.
So once you've done that, you've thickened it up, and like we're talking stews now. Like it's moving that direction. Now I'm on board. It's just the more watery stuff. It really depends on how this turns out, though. Like if it is chunky, so I'm assuming there's a lot to it. So I might open this up and like, oh yeah, I'm into this. Or it might just be, well, it does have chunks in it, but it's still
and beer,
cheese soup,
chunks and beer. Yeah. Nate,
so,
what are your thoughts on soup? Give me all your thoughts on soup.
Well, I just had
to eat it.
grilled cheese and tomato soup for dinner last night, and that was delightful. So
yeah, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's a dip with the grilled cheese. That's a dip.
There's special circumstances here for that one.
To be fair, I had tomato soup as a kid. I never really liked it until I had it with grilled cheese, and I only like it as long as there's grilled cheese left to deliver it to me.
Dip in it.
Once the grilled cheese is gone, I'm done with the soup. You have there's no more reason for you to be here. You can
be 100% fair. I completely dipped my grilled cheese into it and then just
well, you gotta
bites off the sandwich that away. So
absolutely. Tyler's throwing bisques into the mix here, and I'm lobster bisque is an absolute favorite. There's this place that does a she crab bisque, and I don't know. I've seen a few places mention she crab specifically, and I don't know the benefits to it being she crab, but all I know is it's really good. So yeah, I'm down to clown with some bisques as well.
So what I'm hearing is we need to do a Soup Guys Radio Super Bowl 2026.
Yeah, I'm down. And I tell you,
episode.
Brian will sit here and diss on soup, but I tell you, if we throw a party to where soup is part of the focus,
he's showing up.
He'll eat it.
I'll drink a little of your beverages, your hot beverages. They're nice.
Give him a little cheese to throw in there, some crackers or corn chips or something.
You put it in a coffee cup, I'm more likely to to consume it because it's, this is not food. This is a beverage, at a certain point.
Brian, what if I put it in an OG Stanley mug, like the one with the handle that you can unscrew and get a little cup and you can pour in the cup, and
if I can drink it and
away.
it's good enough, yeah, I might do it.
Madness.
I don't. Yeah, just don't tell me it's food. Just it's a beverage. I'm like, oh, it's a hot beverage. It's very savory. I'm like, oh, let me try your hot beverage. That's
a savory
quite nice.
hot beverage.
Yeah.
There's potatoes in it too, by the way. Big chunks of
bonus.
potatoes. Yeah.
You didn't tell me that. Great.
Cool. Good stuff. Well, y'all, that about wraps it up, and I definitely believe it is time to wrap it up for this week's show. We hope you enjoyed the in-depth conversation on soup, and now you know all of our opinions on soup here. But we hope that you have a really, really good week. If you dig what we're doing here, don't let me miss this. If you dig what we're doing, tell a friend to tune in, subscribe to the show, get the podcast. It's out there everywhere. If you really dig what we're doing, then please do consider supporting us on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/beerguys. We would really love that. But with all that said, we hope that you have a really, really good week. And don't forget to drink local. Cheers. I am pro soup. I'm pro chowder. I'm pro chili. I'm pro bisque. And so, Brian, I make something that I call soup, but I believe it would definitely qualify as more of a hearty stew. And it's one of my simple meals. I think they call them struggle meals, but I really dig this, so I don't know that struggle would be the right word. But I take a can of like tomato sauce, and then I take a can of diced tomatoes, and then I take a can of veg-all that's got, your peas, corn, carrots, potatoes, and I normally take a pound of ground sausage. And I put all that in there, and I vary it a little bit. I may do it Italian style one night. I may put, some garlic and herbs and things in there, or I may do it Cajun style with some little Tony Chachere's in there. Well, what do you think of that? What are your thoughts on that one?
Do you put it over rice or something when you're done with that? Because
no, I mean it's
okay.
You could I make it almost thick enough to where, I mean, you can eat it. You eat it with a spoon, but like if you pulled your spoon across the bowl, it would it would take a second for the Red Sea to come back together there.
That sounds interesting. I was trying to think about. Yeah, I mean,
you could eat it over rice, Brian, if you
thinking,
wanted
or
to.
What's the thing where they use the tomato sauce and the eggs to cook them together? And I forget what that's called.
Shakshuka?
Yeah, something like that. Like it sounded like you were going that term, like let's throw some eggs in there, or something else. Of like we could make this very interesting. No, it doesn't sound bad. Like you've got sausage in there.
What if I threw beer in there too?
Well, I mean, that's just a bonus. I'm like,
put it in the mug and give it to you, right?
It's in the realm of something I would enjoy. Like, does it come with grilled cheese sandwiches? Yeah, cheese. Like does it? Can we get a little of that on there? Like, okay,
straight to jail. Yeah. Well, y'all, we've got to wrap it up here. Thanks for hanging out with us. We hope you have a good week, and we will see you next week. Cheers.